Hello, this is Dread, and in today's video topic, I don't know if you can tell by the tone of my voice, but guess what? It's finally time to be hyped! Oh my goodness, goodness gracious, we've been waiting and waiting and waiting for actual news about the next update, and we finally have it here with the Lich and Necromancer rework, or mini rework, whatever you want to call it. Finally, some worthwhile stuff to talk about. So Lich is getting a new skill. It's going to be Lich only. It's called Flay. It looks absolutely amazing. Now, will it be amazing? I don't know. But it looks cool, and that's all that matters right now, is that it looks cool. At base, right, if you attack and kill an enemy with it, right, you'll make like a blood explosion there. So you'll like dash to the enemy with no cooldown or anything like that. And that just by itself is enough to be functional for the most part, because you get enough hits to work with ailments pretty well, because ailments really do work between, the two types of melee and spells and stuff like that. Just being able to, have an on-kill effect on your melee attack is like absolutely amazing. And as you can see in the footage, the area is huge on it. Like, it's fucking huge. Each enemy killed by the melee attack will release a blood eruption, dealing spell physical damage in the area. Now, there's something to be very important about this. When an ailment kills something that was applied by a skill, if that skill says on kill of something, it will then count as though you killed with that skill. This is very important to understand, because it makes ailments really strong with this, because the ailments on the melee attack will kill the enemy, and then that explosion will then apply another ailment, and it's going to be amazing. Absolutely amazing. Even if it doesn't end up being an insane single target skill, like this is already like league starter material as we currently see. Now, of course, it all depends on how much numbers they give the skill. They could make it cost a bajillion mana. They could make it do all this and all that. I have no idea. So let's look into it. So Deadly Plot adds a flat mana cost to it. Additional mana cost, so that means that it does have a base mana cost, unfortunately, but we'll see how much it is. Lich is getting some new ways of getting mana back. Now, it gives you more spell damage based on your maximum mana, so that's a lot. That's a lot of extra more damage. That's like 20% more damage per 100 maximum mana. If you have like, let's say 500 max mana, that's 100% more damage. It's very quick. That's very easy. And it's for the spells triggered by Flay. And it seems like as though it's going to be triggering Rip Blood, Chaos, and Chaos Bolts, by the way. They noted that here. Meaning that you can play like a Rip Blood. Like, we kind of already know that like Flay will interact with Rip Blood a lot, so that's good. So more spell damage is good, so you can play like the spell cock build, with attack speed scaling and stuff like that, because cast speed scaling is hard to get nowadays without investing too hard into it. Transference here: when hitting boss or rare enemies with melee attack, your active Aura of Decay can be transferred on the boss instead of onto yourself. This is important as Aura of Decay is getting a giga buff and giga change. Aura of Decay is being pretty much completely reworked into a usable skill again, so being able to use it like this might actually be really good. That's cool. We can convert it to poison, so you can convert bleed to poison. That's cool. That would require poison to be good, though, unfortunately, although the animation is sick. Right now, poison's kind of in a downturn in terms of scaling, so I don't know why you'd want to convert bleed to poison, although you could get a lot of poison chance. It's just, we'll see. Frostbite here. Now, this is way more interesting, converting it to cold and converting bleed to frostbite. Well, not only does this give you access to Throne of Ambition for the crit version, it also gives you frostbite, and frostbite is a decent ailment with very generic sources of support for it, meaning that it could work very well. As you can see, the AoE is nice. Like the animation is so fucking cool, dude. Like, that's by far the best thing about this skill so far is the animation. And me getting a new computer means I gotta run it all on Ultra, baby. So we have Soul Ripper here, which is the same thing, but converting it to Damned. This is very interesting because Damned is not a very good ailment right now, to be honest with you. I'm not like too big on Damned, and since this is specifically going to be in Lich's tree, right? Like, might not end up being that good. Damned isn't that good of an ailment currently. And the biggest problem that this is going to have is, like, you can't use it on Warlock, and we're pretty sure old Lich form and old Death Seal is going the way of the Dodo, so it's gonna need some help to make this part work, but I mean, maybe we'll see it, right? Now here's an item, it's Executioner's Tithe. Pretty much almost all of this doesn't matter. There's like 2 lines of text on this item that matter. So it's a one-handed axe, so it can be dual-wielded, which we'll see later. It has 4% base crit, so it's an axe with base crit on it, so that's a good start. And then specifically here at the bottom here, 22% of your maximum mana restored when Great Harvest hits a boss or enemy. So whenever you directly cast Harvest, you can have an unspecialized Harvest with like just some cooldown recovery speed, and you can use it to generate a lot of mana. Like everything else on this thing doesn't fucking matter. I'll be completely honest with you. All that matters is this line and this line. That makes it good enough. So, although this is cool, so you can use it with like spells, obviously, right? But like, you know, like we know where this is going to be used. Acolyte has never had good ways of sustaining mana in a functioning way that like was like really, really, really good, right? So having more ways of sustaining mana is good, especially considering you can dual this and put it in your offhand and use like a spell or something like that. Now, skill changes. Rip Blood is being changed to shoot in like a line. That's a very good start. Right now, Rip Blood was always a terrible clearing skill, but it's going to be really good if it just keeps everything else that it had and just gets this. It's great. Blood Tethers are getting buffed. The way Blood Tethers are working is it's now a 200% added damage effectiveness per second. It's a spell. It gives you 3% of damage leeches health, but it deals 1% more damage per bleed on the target. You can only have 1 of them on the target, but you can do a lot of shenanigans with this. Now, assuming that if all of the nodes in Rip Blood, if the generic more damage modifiers scale the Blood Tether, which they should as long as they're not, you know, conditional modifiers, it means that like generic Rip Blood deals more damage. We can end up getting a Blood Tether that does a significant portion of damage. Like it could actually end up doing a lot of damage depending on what happens. And there are other ways of getting Blood Tethers. You can get it with Soul Feast. There's other ways of getting Blood Tethers. So this actually looks a little bit exciting. Now, it could be absolute fucking garbage for all I know. It depends on all the other skill changes. We'll know when we get patch notes. We have Carnage here. When you directly use Rip Blood and hit a boss or rare enemy, at least with 3 enemies, you can cast Marrow Shards in the same direction. Pretty much now, you don't self-cast Marrow Shards anymore. You just use Rip Blood to self-cast it. This is absolutely insane. This is enough of a change to make up for the removal of the generic more damage modifier of Death Seal. This is like the first change I've seen so far in this post. It's like directly addressing the removal of the more damage from, you know, Death Seal. Because remember, Lich isn't that good if you don't have the more damage from Death Seal, right? And all of the like increased damage from Lich form, which means that you're going to need extra damage. And let me tell you, making your Rip Blood up at a cast or Marrow Shards, that's a good fucking start. Marrow Shards is an insane tree. So, and Rip Blood has a decent tree as well. So like being able to like Rip Blood things, Marrow Shards them and all that, it makes the spellcaster archetype for Lich so much better. And the thing is, this isn't just for like, you know, Lich. This can be used for Warlock and for like, there's a lot of different ways you can use this. Like you can use this for ailment stacking. You can use this, like there's a lot of different ways you can use this. Now, Summon Abomination is getting changed where it no longer decays by normal, but you cannot use. You can only use Wraiths, Summon Skeletons, Skeletal Mages, Golems, and Volatile Zombies. You can no longer consume stuff like Parasites or whatever like that. So it's going to no longer be cheesed into having infinite amounts of more damage and stuff like that. So that's cool. That's a really good start. It's no longer going to be a meme anymore where you just like spend 5 years trying to summon it. So that's a good start. Also as well, like, not decaying anymore means that it's playable and you can actually play it and have fun with it in its base functionality instead of having to play with the skeleton version. Also, as well, Tower of Bones is getting buffed. The stomp, when it was released a long time ago, it had no cooldown, or it had like a much less of a cooldown than it does now. It had like a 4-second cooldown. And on launch of the thing, I think, or there was a bug where it had like a 1.5 second cooldown, or it had no cooldown. I can't remember exactly, but this is reducing that to like 2.5. And what's nice about it is a cooldown reduction. So cooldown recovery speed will be, still, working on this. So that's nice. That's a lot of more damage, and you can use stuff to get extra golems to make them even bigger and make them do a much bigger slam. And this is the kind of stuff you want to see for minions, stuff that make them clear way quicker, because damage has never really been the issue. Now, what's really interesting here is we have Eternal Arrow. Pretty much it's just a Heartseeker with like 100% chance to recurve. Pretty much all it does is just give us like a way of making, Skeletal Archer actually good. We'll see if like this ends up being good or not, but right now the current version of it was really bad, but that is a lot of extra damage. This makes Ailment A-Bomb not a complete meme. Like it might actually be okay. The only problem is like, I don't know if this damage is enough to make up, like there's a lot of problems with this, and like it might not be able to do enough damage. Every 4 seconds is not enough to make up for like what you're doing. It does recurve. So like, the first thing is like 100%, yada, yada, yada. Like I'm not entirely sure, but right now as it currently stands, this isn't as good. The bow damage per intelligence is good, but like the thing is, like it's losing all of its damage scaling from the initial summon. So like, I'm not sure this will be good, or I'm not sure if this will be good or not. I know this will be good. I don't know if this will be good. Well, we'll see, right? We'll see. Another thing here, Aura of Decay is getting reworked completely. You take 30% less damage from all sources from 50%, but you take 50% less damage from our own Aura of Decay, meaning we no longer can kill ourselves as easily. That's really nice. It's like just really nice, because like not dying is great. We can convert it to bleed, making it into an ailment that's actually worth scaling. So that's a good start. And we can also convert it to frostbite, which is also an ailment that's worth scaling. Something very specific here. All of its effects related to poison and poison resistance are converted to bleed and bleed and physical resistance, etc. What's really nice about this is you can take less physical damage or less cold damage. Not only that, you can also make enemies have less physical resistance based on your intelligence if that node still exists. Now, you will have to stack intelligence. I mean, you'll have to stack physical resistance, but in theory, if you have 100 intelligence, you can have negative 100 physical resistance to enemies, and same thing with cold. And this doesn't have to be just poison. It could just be like crit damage. This specifically here makes fizz, like this is another way of making up for removing Death Seal out of the game. So that's cool. That's a good fucking start. That's a very good fucking start. We got Cold Death too for the cold version, so that's gonna be really good for Frostbite. It's gonna be really good. Like there's a lot of different things you can do with that. Just the fact that it does the poison to physical resistance thing, like conversion should do, is a good start in making a lot of different builds viable. Putrid Bombs are on Evade, and they use 250% of your poison chance now. I'm not entirely sure how this will be. This seems still kind of memey, but whatever. Fester just makes it so you can deal more damage with Aura of Decay. That depends if they'll actually let Aura of Decay do damage. Who knows? Maybe they'll buff it even more than what we've seen. But right now, with what we currently seen, it doesn't give you that much more damage. It's more of a utility still. So passive changes. This is not just for this node. Every single dual wield node is going to give you increased attack and cast speed while dual wielding, which is absolutely insane. A huge buff to dual wielding, and it's also reducing the damage taken while dual wielding to 8%. So not only do you get a benefit of attack and cast speed, which is really hard to get in some places, it also is giving you, that much. It's also very important for like casting builds too, because like cast speed's hard to get, dude. And this is on every single dual node now. There's a lot of builds that I used to like. There's a lot of builds recently I've been playing where this matters a lot. That's cool. Cursed Feast, we've actually already seen this. Pretty much it caps your HP. It gives you that leech continues even though you're not at full health benefit, which is really nice. This node's going to be very fun. Impact Ward is very interesting. I like the design. Damage over time taken bypasses Ward. Leech is a very strong thing in Last Epoch. You can get way more Leech than you can get more Ward. The idea here is damage over time can be kind of put up against the thing that is better at it, because Leech has better recovery, while Ward is better against one big damage hits and stuff like that. So this is very interesting. Also, just 20% less damage taken is just a fucking absurd. Like that is just absurd. Like just this, but like all like this, very interesting. I really like this because it makes Ward better at what it's doing, and then, you know, lets your Leech handle the damage over time as long as it's not too much. But with 20% less damage taken and then like everything else above, like this is a very good start. Forbidden Teachings, lots of intelligence and vitality for Necromancer, and it gives you more damage per vitality. I'm not sure how much vitality you'll be able to get, but it's like not a big deal. And crit chance per vitality is always good, right? So very good node for Necromancer. Effigies here gives you less damage taken, and you can like bonk minions and stuff like that. That's really cool. So whenever one of your minions die, your other minions restore health equal to 20% of its maximum health. Having this makes having a zoo build much easier, because you have like 5 minion dies, all of a sudden all the other minions like revive, you have like 100% health, right? Again, that's cool. The damage redirected is really good too, because that plus the chest can give you a lot of DR that you normally wouldn't have access to. There's gonna be a lot of very tanky Necromancers next patch because of this. That's gonna be very strong. But yeah, that's it. That's it for all the changes that's been spoiled. But unlike all the other spoilers, like this has actually got me hyped. Like it is actually time to be hyped for Last Epoch. Like I haven't really had a reason to be hyped until now. I am very hyped. With all that being said, this has been Dread. Probably going to play a Lich or Necromancer next patch. We'll see. Bye.